Hello everyone. In the last video, we saw how we could use Docker Compose. We saw how we could have multiple services running in a single Docker Compose YAML file. We saw how we can have a service for database, another service for the application, and they will be communicating with each other. In this video, we want to introduce something that I consider to be an extension of Docker Compose because it's Microsoft offering for um, YAML configuration in containerization, and that's known as container groups. So the way container groups work is that it allows you to have multiple containers within a YAML file. It's quite similar to Docker Compose, really. It's just that Container Group is a service that Microsoft developed. The syntax is a little bit different, and I like to think that it has more features than the regular Docker Compose because it is closer to um, cloud-based instance when you are connecting it to a container instance and things around that. So before we start, what I want to do is, I don't think we've had a lab on trying to modify an image that's an official image, the way we have MySQL, trying to modify it before publishing it to a registry. What we did was we had a .NET application that we kind of like got an image out of it, or a container, I can't fully recall. But what we want to do now is an established image. We want to modify an image. So that will be the first thing we do. Then we'll push to the container registry before we really start with Docker Compose. So the first thing I will do is, let me share my screen so that you can see the Docker file that we'll be using. Yeah, so this is the Docker file. So we are selecting MySQL as the base. However, what is making this particular image to be different from what we have in the base is that we're adding an initialization script. If you can recall, in our previous videos, we were adding this initialization script to our Docker Compose, to our container, to our service, not the image. But in this case, we are now doing it with the image. So we are modifying the image and we are getting an artifact that will be pushed um, to the registry, to the image registry. So I will be opening my I'll be opening my I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be going to bash very soon. So we are really going to cover a lot in this um, lab, in this video. So just follow me and you won't get lost. We'll be covering a whole lot, a whole lot. Yeah, I believe you can see my screen. So what we want to do now is we want to create our image, and that image is using MySQL as the base, and um, that image has been modified from what MySQL usually gives us because we have added an initialization script to it. And that script is the same initialization script that we use when we are working with Docker Compose. Yeah, so this is what I want this new image to be called SQL custom. So let me call it MySQL custom. MySQL custom. So I want to build a new image now. Yeah, so I think everything is fine. So this will go through the Docker Compose and just read through what we have there. So I'm building a new image now and I'm calling it my SQL custom. This is going to take a while. Yeah, so it's done. So the next thing we are going to do is you can see it's took in from this script, it does a couple of caching and the likes. So what I want to do now is I want to create an Azure Container Registry account. So I already have one running, but I think I will be creating another one just for us to see that everything is being done from the scratch. Container registry. I have one running, or should I just use this? Should I use it? Should I use it? Should I use it? So let me create one. So if you want to create one, just come over here to create. Give it a resource group. I will delete it immediately after this video. Then the registry name, let me call this Ayo frankly. Hopefully this is available. Yeah, it is. And I'm fine with East US. Then let me change the pricing plan to basic. So I'm creating a registry now. What this registry is kind of like a Docker hub account where I'll be able to push my images to. So it's kind of like a big container or a big platform where my images can be stored. Microsoft's version of Docker, for lack of a better word. So I can create. So it's creating the container registry now. So remember what we are doing now. What we are doing first is having a custom image, creating a custom image. Before now, we were not we're using MySQL the way it was. We're using Ubuntu the way it was. We didn't try to modify any of such images. We're only doing the modifications in the container, not in the image. Yeah, so it's the deployment is complete. So let me go to my recess. Yeah, so now that we have our registry in place, the next thing I will be doing is I am going to tag my image. So I'll be returning to my bash. Let me stop sharing and I will share to my bash. Okay, so we are in my bash now. What I want to do now is before I can push, I need to first of all tag. So let me just copy this. Copy this. I want to tag. So what I want to do is I'll change the name. It was called the name of the registry that I just created. Let me confirm the name. Yeah, you're frankly. Yeah, then I want to, the name of this is MySQL custom. MySQL custom. And I want to tag it to, let me also use the same name for uniformity sake. MySQL custom. MySQL custom. MySQL custom. Let me confirm the name, MySQL custom. Yeah. So this is what I am doing. So before I can push, I want to tag it. I want to tag it first. So it has been tagged. So yeah, it's tagged now. So the next thing I need to do is to kind of like push it to the Azure Container Registry. Usually, the first thing I should do is to log in by using AZ login. I don't know if I'm presently logged in, but what I will do is let me run the push first. So if it gives me an error, then I know that I need to log in via AZ login. So let me MySQL custom. Then this should also change to Ayo Frankly. Yeah, so if this says it's not authorized, then I need to log in. Let's see. I think it's actually working. So assuming it did not, okay, unauthorized, so it's not working. So what I would do is, you can see unauthorized here. So the first thing I'll do is I will enter is that login. This will automatically open a new browser window. You might not see it because I'm sharing just this, but I will log in. My browser is open now, and I'm trying to log in, and I've logged in completely. So now what I will do is, you can see it has confirmed that I'm logged in. So the next thing I will do is I would run the same command again. If it does not work, then I will log into the Azure Container Registry also. I know it won't work, but let's just see. It will still be unauthorized, still unauthorized. So what I need to do now is to enter is it Azure Container Registry login, the name of my container registry account, which is Ayo Frankly, I think. Ayo Frankly. That's basically what I need to log into the container registry. Hopefully, it does work. So it's going to log in. Okay, I think um this panel economy. Do you mean okay? I think there should be space here. Uh, Let me confirm from okay. Let me try this. Yeah, so it's eventually worked. There should be a space. So this will log me into Azure Container Registry. So now I think I can successfully push. Since I'm logged into Azure, I'm logged into Container Registry. So my push should be able to work now. So now I'm pushing to Azure Frankly, my SQL custom. Yeah, so the push is working now. It's working. So what we are doing now is the image that we have created, the modified version of MySQL, we are pushing it to Azure Container Registry so that we can easily work with it from the repo in Azure. So this is going to take a while, but I want to show us something in our container registry. Um, so let me just wait for this to be done so that it will be straightforward. Our movement will be straightforward. So this will take a while. So what as soon as we are done with this, we are going to confirm our um from our portal, the Azure portal, that our repo is really in the container registry. So while this is still pushing, let me just show us something from over here. So I'm sharing my edge. I believe you can see it now. So what we want to do now is that as soon as the push is complete, if you should come over here and you scroll to repository, you should be able to see what we pushed here, but it's not yet done. It's still pushing. That's why we are yet to see anything here. But when as soon as it's completed, we are going to be able to find it here. So the repo is going to be here. We'll see, and there's a good version into around it. Um, so let me go back. This is going to take a while. Yes, it's an image. It's still pushing. It's still pushing. You know that these images are usually in layers. You can see the different layers as they are being pushed onto Azure. So different layers, some are waiting, some are moving, and it's being pushed, 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 pushed. So remember what we want to do. The end goal is trying to be very comfortable with container groups, which is like Microsoft offering for Docker Compose. It uses the same YAML file like Docker Compose and has a lot of additional features. So if you are very comfortable with Microsoft, then Container Group is something that you should want to explore. And we want to use, so for our first scenario, in using Container Group, we are going to be using just a single container, this modified version of MySQL. However, in subsequent videos, we are going to be using multiple containers within a container group. We are going to have a container for the application and one for the database, and both of them would interact together. But right now, what we just want to do is we just want to confirm that our modified image is working and the data that should be in there is actually there. So this will take a while, take a while, take a while. Usually I should pause this video and come back to it when it's done. I'm not a fan of pausing videos. I might edit it to skip some of these parts, but when I did it yesterday, it was a lot faster than this. So it's Just be patient, be patient. To be done soon. So while this is going on, the next thing we need to do is we need to prepare our YAML file. So our YAML file is what we are going to be using to create the container group. Our YAML file is what we'll be using to create the container group. We'll be connecting our YAML file to our Azure environment, but we need to modify it to fit what we want. So let me just open the YAML file, and we can be working with that while this is going on. Okay, so while our push is ongoing, I just wanted us to modify the YAML file that we are going to be using to create our container group. So the first thing, so this is already a template I'll be using. This was what I used when I did this yesterday. So the API version, the location I know is this US, then the name of our um the container instance that we are going to be creating. So this YAML file allows us to provision a container instance. We've worked with container instance in our previous videos. Container instance is a server that was specially made to accommodate containers, so you don't need to do a lot of installations. So what I will do is, let me just modify this to frankly, it can be anything. This is the name of the instance that we want. Then properties, name of our container, um, So the name we can give it any name, because I mean this is the container. It's only the image that we have as at here. So the name we call it the properties. So this is the image. The image you have to remember to use the right URL, which is frankly, and over here it should be my SQL custom. Then as for resources, CPU one, that's fine. Memory in gigabytes 1.5. The ports, that's fine. OS type, I'm good with Linux. Over here, we change this to the server is frankly. The username. So in terms of username and password, we will need to go and enable these two from the Azure console. I'll be showing you how we are going to do that. And for the type, it's a container instance and container group. So this is a container group. So I believe this YAML file is pretty clear. It's not complicated at all. The only thing that we are here to do now is the username and the password. So I will use the default username. But we need to get the password. I know the default username will be the name of the account I'm using. Yeah, so the only thing I will replace will be the password. So I'll be going to the portal soon to get our password. But let's see our push that is still ongoing. I wonder if I should do this push again. Yeah, so let me refresh this. I know it's not yet done, but it's still working. So what I want to do is for the password I said we need to get, what we are required to do is to come over to access keys. Then this is what we are to enable to be able to get our our password. But I want the push to be complete first. Okay, so it's already moving now. Well, it's already moving. The more layers are moving now. So it was previously in E2 AD1. It was previously in data ID, so two more layers have been added. But I need this to be completed. Probably because I just created the registry account. So if I had used the older registry account, it might have been faster. Finally, finally, it's completed. So what I want to do now is, let me stop sharing. Let me go to the portal, to the Azure portal. This video will be quite long. Oh, stop sharing, and I want to share the portal. Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to enable admin user so that I can use the password in my YAML file for my container group. So I'll just pick the first password, I'll copy it. After copying it, I would be using it in my, you can see the username is the default and the login server is the default too. So I've copied the password. I want to use it in my the YAML file. Slot it in here. Yeah. So I think everything is set. I think everything is set. This should work. I think this should work. I hope there is no mistake anywhere. So I think this should work. So what I will do now is, let me go back to my Azure portal. I want to use PowerShell from here instead of, so I clicked on this icon to open PowerShell. Yeah, so it's on Bash, so I'll change this to PowerShell. Yeah, so PowerShell is coming up. So let me just see, what do I have here? Okay, this is still the previous one. Um, so what I will do is, I have one YAML file here. Let me delete it. Yeah, so now I will, I want to upload a newer version of the YAML file. I'm uploading now. Yeah, so it's been uploaded. If I do ls again, I can see it. Just to be sure the content of that file is what I expect. Is it cat? Is it cat? Cat. Is it cat? Or is it more? Cat works. Yeah, so correct. SQL custom. Yeah. And why did I think it was more? In the case of more, this is just me trying out some things. What will more do? More does the same thing. Okay, so both these cards and this is more. Okay, so they do the same thing. That's fine. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to use this YAML file to create a container group that will be using this image that we have here. I'll be using this image that we have here, which is mysql server view. So let me paste this. This is the command I'll be using. Is that container create my resource group. This is the resource group I'm using. The file is the YAML file that we have over there. So I think it's good to, we are good to go. Enter. Yeah, so it's running now. So I'm creating a container using a container group YAML file. And what this container is doing is that it's creating a container instance using the image that we customize, the MySQL image, and it's also running a container. So it's running a container, then using a container instance for us to be able to access that container. And the image in use is the custom MySQL. Yeah, so I think it is done. Provisioning state succeeded. I do not think there's any error. So everything works well. State running, which is good. Okay, so what I want to do now is, let me go to another, my portal, and I'll be opening container instance. I want to see if what we created is already here. Yeah, so this was the one we just created. You can see, okay, the time is not listed here, but it happened a couple of seconds ago. This one was created, I think it was yesterday I did this. Why this was created today? Why this was created just now. So I'll click on this. And you can see it is running. Container count 1. So if I go over to containers, you'll be able to see that it's been started. And look at the time. That's like 2 minutes ago, 1 to 2 minutes ago. 1 to 2 minutes ago. So it's live. So what I want to do to confirm that our MySQL is working as expected, and to also confirm that the initialization script that we use to create a table and populate our database actually work this. I'll come over to connect. I want to connect to this. Come over to connect. And I want to use bin bash. This is a very long video, but we are going to be done soon. So as soon as I confirm this, we'll be done. I don't like creating long videos. We're using bin bash. It's coming up. Yeah. So what I will do is CLS. Okay, we have our entry point here. So I want to go into MySQL. So what I will do is I will use the popular MySQL command that we've used several times as an admin user. Yeah, so the username from our Docker file. Let me confirm the username and password. So from our Docker file, the username is for the username for the root user is root, obviously. But the password is frankly at 123, and the database is appdb, frankly at 123. So I'll press enter when I'm prompted for the password. Enter frankly at 123, and I'm in, which is good news. So now I want to confirm that our database was really created. So I'll start with show databases. If there will be an appdb and there's an appdb. So now use appdb, then select all from curse. Let's see if our data will be there. And our data is there. So everything works well. Our container group did what it ought to do. However, in this lab, our container group is containing just one container. So we are not really leveraging why it's called a container group. But in our subsequent um, demo and labs, we are going to be using container group when we have an application. So we wouldn't even need to connect to it via bash. We'll be seeing the data in the database live from the application. So this will be where we'll be ending this video. If you enjoyed it, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.